All right, let's talk about what makes the world's best workplaces, well, the best. We're going to decode the science behind why some teams are just absolutely crushing it, while others, not so much. And I'll give you a hint, it has nothing to do with ping pong tables or free snacks. Let's dive right in.
I mean, this is the question, right? It keeps managers and leaders everywhere up at night. You can have a team of all-stars, the best strategy, all the resources in the world, but if they don't actually click, what do you get? Disengagement, high turnover, and just frustrating results. So what on earth is the missing ingredient?
Well, here's the secret. The answer isn't hiding in the latest business bestseller or some new management fad. It's actually found deep inside our own brains. Groundbreaking research in neuroscience is showing that high performance it's fundamentally a biological response. Okay, so let's frame this as a mystery that we're going to solve together. The case of widespread disengagement. Why do so many people feel so disconnected from their work, even when companies are spending billions trying to fix the problem?
You know, the reason most of these initiatives just fall flat is that they treat people like cogs in a machine, like resources you can just manage. But here's the thing, we're not rational economic actors. We are fundamentally social creatures, hardwired for connection. And when a workplace ignores that basic fact, it's literally working against our own neurochemistry.
And that deep biological wiring, that brings us to the big reveal. The key that unlocks everything isn't some new process. It's a molecule, a single neurochemical that turns out to be the hidden engine behind high performance. So let me introduce you to oxytocin. You've probably heard it called the love hormone, but in the world of work, it's much more useful to think of it as the trust molecule. When our brains release oxytocin, it dials up feelings of connection, empathy, and cooperation. It is the biological bedrock of trust. And what's amazing is how this creates this incredible positive feedback loop. It all kicks off when someone shows you trust. Say, your boss gives you a huge project and says, "You got this." Your brain then releases oxytocin, which in turn motivates you to reciprocate that trust, to prove them right. This whole cycle just keeps repeating, making collaboration stronger and stronger. Trust literally creates more trust. So this is where it gets really powerful. If we know what triggers this biological response, can we actually design a workplace that creates trust on purpose? Can we engineer it? The answer from neuroscience is a resounding yes. We've got the blueprint. And I want to be really clear here. This isn't guesswork or some fluffy, soft skills idea. This is a systematic model based on a decade of hard research into how our brains actually respond to very specific management practices. We're talking about reverse engineering a high-trust culture. And here it is, the Oxytocin framework. And nope, it's not just a clever acronym. Each of these 8 letters stands for a distinct management behavior that is scientifically proven to trigger the release of oxytocin. So let's take a look at a few of the most important ones. What's really interesting is that across tons of organizations, these 3 factors often score the lowest. Ovation is all about recognizing people's excellence and effort right away and in public. Yield means giving people the autonomy to do their jobs without being micromanaged. And invest is about showing you care for an employee's growth, both professionally and personally. Getting these right is a game changer. So here's a thought. The next time someone on your team just nails it, use that ovation principle. Recognize them publicly, immediately. It's such a small act, but it has a huge neurochemical payoff. Now, this next one is my favorite because it's so counterintuitive. It's the N in the framework, natural leadership. We tend to think leaders need to be perfect, almost infallible, but the science shows the complete opposite is true. When a leader admits they made a mistake or asks for help, it signals vulnerability. And guess what that does? It triggers oxytocin in their team, creating empathy and a super powerful sense of connection. At the end of the day, authenticity builds way more trust than authority ever could. So let's say you do all this. You use the blueprint, you build this high-trust environment. What's the ultimate outcome? Well, it's something much deeper than just productivity. It's about creating a workplace that's filled with joy and a genuine sense of purpose. It all comes down to this really simple but profound equation. Joy at work isn't the same as just being happy. It's that feeling you get from overcoming a really meaningful challenge with people you genuinely trust. And notice, it's multiplication, not addition. That's crucial. If trust is 0 or purpose is 0, then joy is 0. You absolutely need both, and they amplify each other. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. This all sounds great, very inspiring, but does it actually pay off? Let's look at the hard data, because the return on investment for trust is, well, it's absolutely staggering. First up, productivity. Employees in companies with high levels of trust report being 50% more productive than their peers. That's not a small jump. Then you've got energy. They report having 106% more energy at work. That's more than double. Think about what that means for burnout.
And all that energy and productivity, it leads straight to engagement, a massive 76% more engagement.
And when you actually see it laid out like this, the data is it's undeniable. The difference between high trust and low trust companies isn't some small gap, it's a massive chasm. Companies that build trust are operating on a completely different level of human potential.
And here it is, the bottom line. For a 500-person company, a significant bump in their trust levels is estimated to generate an additional $5.09 million in annual revenue. Trust isn't a soft skill, my friends. It's a hard asset.
So, all of this brings us to the final and maybe most important question, one for you to take back with you. Thinking about that oxytocin framework, the recognition, the autonomy, the investment in people, how would you rate your team's trust factor? How does your own workplace really stack up? Because the science is crystal clear. Building trust isn't just the nice thing to do, it's the smartest path to extraordinary performance.